Public Speaking Masterclass. In this video, I'm going to share with you the 4 essential elements of being a great public speaker. More of that in a moment. Let me first off ask you, do you have a product or service that you want to tell the world about? Do you have a message that you want to share with everybody you meet? Because if you do, then this video is for you. Let's start off this masterclass by facing the facts. There has never been a better time for us to be able to share what we have with the world, because we have so many devices that allow us to do that. Just look at your phone. Right now, you're probably watching this on your phone, that you could use your phone right now to get your message out there to so many people, or whether it's actually speaking in public, doing online events, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok. There are so many ways in which we can get our message out there. However, there has also never been as many people that have got something to say. And unless we learn to craft our message, and unless we learn the skills that are absolutely necessary for us to deliver our message in a way that we can make an impact. Look, over the last 25 years, I have spoken on stages all over the world to audiences of up to 25,000 people. I've had my own television show where I've been in front of millions of people. I've got YouTube videos that have had millions of views. I've written 20 books, published in multiple languages all over the world. I have one of the top podcasts also in the world that's in the top 1% of podcasts. I really know what it takes to get your message out there. But you know what? The world has changed since I first started speaking in public. And like I said, we all now have a unique opportunity to craft our messages in ways where we really do make a difference. But there are 4 things that you really need to know. The first one is, who are you? Now that might sound like a really big question, but at the core of you, who exactly are you? What is your uniqueness? What is your onlyness? Now what I mean by that is, what is it that only you can do? You're so unique, and we live in a world where often we're comparing ourselves to others. Great public speakers, they know who they are at their core. Now with me, I know who I am at my core, and I'm here to serve people just like you. People who want to close the gaps between where they are and where they want to be. But you don't just have to take it from me. Let's take a moment and listen to Gary Vaynerchuk. Gary is one of the most well-known entrepreneurs in the world.
I'm an enigma. I confuse people. I'm a contradiction. People struggle with it, and I see it as the strength. It is the and that makes me work. Like, I want to build the biggest companies of all time, yet I haven't come across a lot of people who really genuinely, naturally, DNA, I'm not special, luck of the draw, really want everyone else to win. Like, I'm really about that life.
So Gary knows exactly who he is. And the other unique thing about him is he doesn't really care what people think about him. In fact, he has a lot of haters, but he also has a lot of people who follow him because he knows who he is and he knows who he's serving. And the next thing you need to know is, what is your value proposition? What is the value that you're bringing to the world? What is it that you want people to know about you? What is it that you have that people actually need? And I think a great example of this is actually Barack Obama. Now, I remember actually being in America when he gave his first speech, and he said something that he's kept on saying. And he actually said this in his last speech as president. Take a moment to listen to this.
I do have one final ask of you as your president. The same thing I asked when you took a chance on me 8 years ago. I'm asking you to believe, not in my ability to bring about change, but in yours. I'm asking you to hold fast to that faith written into our founding documents, that idea whispered by slaves and abolitionists, that spirit sung by immigrants and homesteaders and those who marched for justice, That creed, reaffirmed by those who planted flags from foreign battlefields to the surface of the moon. A creed at the core of every American whose story is not yet written. Yes, we can. Yes, we did. Yes, we can. Thank you. God bless you.
So his value proposition, his message to the world is, yes, we can. Now, of course, he had many messages, but that's one thing that he will be remembered for forever. So what is your message to the world? How do you want to be remembered? For me, my value proposition is, look, your future is unwritten and you have the power to change. I want people to be able to look to the future in such a way where they're hopeful and optimistic. So take some time to really think about what is your value proposition. The third thing that you really need to think about is, who is it that you actually want to serve? For so many years in my life, I tried to be all things to everyone. And if you're trying to do that, it's very hard for you to really get through to the people that you most want to serve. I want to use Jennifer Aniston as an example here. Now, many people know Jennifer Aniston as a famous award-winning actress. But what's really interesting about her is that she's used her fame, she's used her influence to be the voice for children. Take a listen to this.
After hearing this word, at the end of the day, after hearing the word repeated over and over again, she looked up at me with those big blue eyeballs and she asked me, "What is cancer?" And I just looked at her and I was like, oh God, I am not equipped to answer this question. Birds and the bees, oh, you're too young for that. But so I never, sorry. But seriously, I never forgot about that moment. Here was this little girl who was fighting this deadly disease every single day, and she didn't even know what the word was for it. And it was just part of her reality, and she was just making the absolute best of it. And that's what's unbelievable about these children. Despite everything that they are up against and as much pain as they are often in, they are vibrant, they're joyful, they are fearless.
Truly inspiring. That's where she's really chosen to focus her attention. Look, in a world where there's so many things we could focus on, it's really essential to take some time to think about, who are the people that you really want to serve? Who are the people that really need what you have? As we move to the fourth thing that you need to consider, and that is, how exactly are you going to serve these people? Look, when I first started speaking in public and became famous, it was on television, there was only a couple of ways I could serve those people. That was in public and on TV. Facebook had just started, Twitter had just come about, but they weren't what they are today. And right now, you have so many ways to serve people. And I think it's really essential to decide which are the vehicles that you want to use to get your message across. Which are the ones you really want to focus on? Look, on the day we're filming this, it's actually Martin Luther King Day. And I want you to take a look at what he did in 1963.
I have a dream that one day, down in Alabama, with its vicious racists, with its governor having his lips dripping with the words of interposition and nullification, one day right there in Alabama, little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream today.
Martin Luther King is an amazing example of, he knew who he was. He knew what his value proposition was. He had a dream. He knew who he was serving. But he was really limited at that time to how he could serve those people. But he was so into his message that he was able to influence millions of people all over the world. And even to this day, he is as popular as he ever was. But the difference between him and you is that you have all of these different ways that you could put your message across. So you could decide to use YouTube. You could use TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. You could decide to become a public speaker and speak in person. But whatever you decide to do, it's absolutely essential that you look at those 3 areas first and you really start to build some confidence in yourself. Look, public speaking is one of the biggest fears in the world. And one of the reasons it's such a big fear is that people are worried about what other people think about them. And I don't mind telling you, for years, I spoke in public because I wanted people to like me. I wanted people to appreciate me. I wanted approval. But as I got older and with all of the adulations and all of the wonderful things that people said about me, it didn't make a difference to how I felt about myself. I had to be the change that I wanted to see in the world. I really did that work to really answer those questions. Who am I? Who do I want to serve? What's my proposition to the world? And I've chosen many ways to put my message out there. You're watching this on YouTube right now, and I want to help and support you in getting your message out there. And that's why I want you to watch the video that we made where I actually interview a whole load of other great public speakers as they share some of their tips, tools, techniques, and strategies for putting their messages across. So watch that video now and let me help you get your message out there.